Welcome to the Inside UMSL podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and I'm here today with Dr. Channon Peoples, Executive Director of the Office of Precollegiate Student Services at University of Missouri St. Louis, and current UMSL student, Emmanuel Morgan. Well, hello.
Hello.
How are both of you doing today?
We are great.
You're doing
Happy to be
fantastic.
here.
Good. I'm excited to get to know you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump right in. Channon, can you tell us a bit about your background, where you grew up, and how you got to UMSL?
I am a native St. Louisan.
Okay.
Been here all of my life. The St. Louis question, where'd you go to high school? I went to Pattonville. I grew up in North St. Louis. I went to Harris-Stowe State University, our one and only HBCU here in St. Louis.
Okay.
I found my way here almost 24 years ago. And I've been here ever since. I've occupied every position here in the Office of Precollegiate Student Services. It was started off as the Bridge Program.
Okay.
And we have grown from servicing just 100 students to working with over 4,000 students and families annually. So I am excited. I was excited for the opportunity to start off volunteering for this program because I was in business initially.
Okay.
And, you know, my purpose led me here to be able to work with students, something I never thought that I would be doing.
And you were in business originally, so what was it that you were doing?
I was a salesperson for AT&T, and so it was something that came about through an internship, and so I love those opportunities because it introduces young people to help them understand what you do and don't want to do in life, what opportunities are available. So that is how I came to be in the business world, and then got laid off. You know, it happens, and started off volunteering. I met someone through this program, and it's like I never left. And so I have been proud of the work that we have been able to do, the difference that we've been able to make in the lives of students. It's mission driven, and as our tagline says, we transform lives. And I just feel privileged to be able to do that on a day-to-day basis.
That's really awesome. I like that a lot. Now, Emmanuel, how about you? What's your background? Where'd you grow up?
Sure. I grew up like 15 minutes from UMSL, so I grew up in St. Louis my whole life.
Cool.
I went to answer the high school question. I went to Kirkwood High School. Both my parents are teachers, so I always felt like school was always going on. Always wanted to do engineering. I almost thought about becoming a doctor. Then I learned about prosthetics to combine engineering and medicine together, and so that's how I ended up choosing to be a mechanical engineering major. That's partially how I ended up at UMSL, but the Bridge program is actually what even led me to even know about UMSL.
Okay, the Bridge program. I think you both mentioned that. What is the Bridge program?
The Bridge program is a college prep program for middle and high school students in the St. Louis area, and it's designed to make sure students are prepared for the transition from high school to college. The way that we do that, we have academies, we have after-school clubs as well, but our mainstay are our academies, our summer and Saturday academy program where students come on campus. They take classes like they are college students. We do things in math and science, writing, career and personal development, and college prep. It's designed to undergird and provide the foundation for what they're doing in their middle and high school classes, but also to provide that challenge and that rigor of what the expectation is once they get on a college campus. It's also designed to demystify that stigma that maybe I don't belong on a college campus. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe because I'm a first generation college student, or maybe because my parents didn't go along this pathway that I can't see myself here. But that light bulb comes on when students see themselves here. They're walking in the same hallways, walking along the same pathways as our college students, sitting in the same classrooms. They realize I can do this. I belong here. And that is what brings me the most joy while we are, of course, like I said, building upon the foundation of what they're doing in their middle and high school classes. But it really is helping them to understand what life is like after they graduate and where they can see themselves. And while our students go on to attend schools, every public, private, college and university across our nation, armed forces, they go everywhere. But many of them decide to make UMSL their home because of the experiences that they've had here with our faculty, with our staff, with the amenities here. And we provide scholarships. If students decide to come to UMSL, we know that finances can be a great barrier for why students stop out or why they don't start at all. But that's something that we have really worked hard to make sure that our students not only have the resources, that they are ready for that transition, but that finances is not a barrier either. And having that support as well. And so we have students like Emmanuel that are a testament to that, the fact that what we're doing, that it works.
So you went through the bridge program?
Yes. I think I joined my sophomore year of high school, and I can't remember how it came up, but my mom mentioned it, and she was like, I signed you both, myself and my younger brother up, like, you guys are going. It's like, oh, on Saturdays? But the moment I walked in and actually like sat in the lecture, one of the UMSL lecture halls, I was like, this is amazing. It was my first time ever being on a college campus and not just like passing through, if I could say it that way. I went to a high school where almost everyone was like several years ahead in math or science, and I wasn't yet because I just transferred in, so I felt very subpar compared to my peers.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I was in a room full of other people who not only looked like me, but also were like-minded, where they wanted to something else outside of peaking in high school. And this program, all the instructors were talking about how there's more than just being good at sports or, you know, just hanging out with friends. You could do all of that, but also be academically challenged and actually become your fullest in whatever regard. And they were willing to support in different ways. There's people who want to become doctors, engineers, lawyers, and it was fun actually hearing, like, in the background, like, some people talk about they had like a tournament right after, you know, the Saturday program, and they're rushing off, but then it's like, oh, but I also have 3 AP classes I'm studying for. They just like made me want to be better.
Yeah.
The bridge program was actually my first time ever hearing that someone could go to college and not take out hundreds of thousands in loans, and that was life changing. That actually caused me to have a goal to get through college, my undergrad, without taking out a single loan. And I could say now I've met that goal so far. So
wow.
I'm like on track to one semester left, and so that was really life changing. I actually told my parents about it, and I don't know if you mentioned, but like the parents also go through a few classes, while the students are also in their lessons. And so while like I'm doing all these different classes, being on a college campus, getting the feel of how things work, my parents are learning about what it means for your student to, you know, study for the ACT, what you should expect, how to apply for colleges, different things like that. That my parents, even though they went to college, things had changed between that time. And so it was very informative. And then when I told them about my idea of going to college debt-free, my mom was super scared. She was like, well, we learned about these other different programs while there too. I was like, well, keep those in the back pocket, but I want to try it. And then it was like after a few more lessons, they're all like, I think we could try this out. And UMSL happened to be that college. That was a good fit for me.
That's
and
awesome.
so it worked out going from the bridge program straight to UMSL. And it helped me align with all my goals to be able to meet them.
So that sounds like a very holistic approach to make sure not only the students are prepared, but the parents are, because it is a big life change for them too.
It absolutely is, and I'm glad that Emmanuel brought that up, because that's one of the things that people don't know about our program. And when it was first started in 1986, it started with the Parent Academy. It was attached to the Saturday Academy because we realized that students, many times, it's the parents, of course, that get them there, the guardians, because everyone's family is unique. But our parents are there on those first Saturdays, and they are taking those classes. But it goes beyond just the traditional, just admissions, financial aid, scholarships. We are addressing mental health challenges. We are addressing, blended families. We are addressing communication challenges, how to help you to be the best advocate for your student. Because as he said, things change from year to year. I have adult children. My oldest son is 29. And as I said, my youngest son is 8. So from the time that he's gone to college to the time that my youngest will be going to college, things have changed dramatically. As we know with the FAFSA, things are changing. We're hearing things, from week to week. And so we are helping to make sure our parents are the best resource, not just for their student, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how we build community, to make sure that they can go out in their respective communities, in their families, and to make sure that they're bringing someone along with them, that they're building the village. That's been a really strong building block for the program, that not only do we have the student academies, but the parent academy, and everything that we do is free.
Okay.
There's no
that was going to be
fee.
my next question about specifically the Saturday Academy. What are the details on that? How does that work?
So students come the first 2 Saturdays of the month from October through February. They're here from 7:45 a.m. to noon. As he said, it's very early.
Yeah.
So we are cheering them on, getting them here. And as I said, we're taking those classes in the math and science fields to help to challenge them for what's next. We do a lot of ACT preparation because even though there's a lot of test optional, they still need to be prepared for that test because there's a lot of merit money that is left on the table because of that. Writing and communication, because it doesn't matter what field you're going in, you need to be a strong communicator. And then career and personal development, making sure that they understand, because as he said, understanding who you are. I wanted to be an attorney. The way that I thought about that field was because of what I saw on television.
Yeah.
What we see on television is not necessarily real world. And so having those experiences, being able to work and do things hand in hand, and having those experiences is what our students need. And so helping them to understand and align their values, their strengths, their interests, because all of those things are relative. That's what we're doing in our career and personal development class. Adding that personal piece, that time management, organization, study skills. How many of our students get to college and realize things were easy in high school? I didn't have to study. In college, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. So helping them to pull those pieces together, understanding that great character, citizenship is essential to your success. And then in that college prep piece, when they become 11th and 12th graders, taking those dreams and those ideals of what they think they want to do and now aligning it to the colleges that are the best fit for them. Yeah. Maybe it's UMSL, maybe it's Harvard, maybe it's Howard, maybe it's somewhere else, but helping our students, or maybe it's a trade school, because we understand that the 4-year route is not for everyone, but helping them to find what their passion is, what's going to be the best fit, and what's going to help have the least amount of debt. Yeah. Because how many of us are still paying back student loans?
I know I am.
Same. I wish I was one of the ones that had mine forgiven, but I have not been so fortunate. But we want to make sure that our students are not saddled with that debt. So we are helping them to find the best fit all the way around, so that at the end of this whole process, they are graduates, that they didn't just go, but they went through. Yeah. And so our Saturday Academy, we end with a grand celebration here on campus, and that's what I was just talking to him about, being our keynote speaker for that, where there's 1,500 people in the audience celebrating the successes of our seniors. Last year, our seniors raised over $9 million in scholarships.
Wow.
We had about 80 seniors, and they received over $9 million in scholarship offers. And so it's a testament to the work that they are doing, that our faculty and staff are doing with them, and that the process, if they are willing to commit to it, that works. So that's our Saturday Academy program. Yeah.
And now the Saturday Academy and the Bridge program, is that the only thing that the Office of Precollegiate Student Services do? Oh, okay.
We have our Summer Academy that services 6th through 8th graders, the middle school academy, and then there's a summer academy for 9th and 10th graders. I won't talk about all the partnership programs we have, because that we will be here for another 45 minutes. But our flagship programs for the Summer Academy, they're here for 4 weeks, the last 2 weeks of June, first 2 weeks of July. And our students, some of those classes I described, but they're here on campus Monday through Friday from 7:45 to noon. And we are doing a lot of experiences with them. They do workshops, cultural diversity. We're using a lot of the labs and things here. We're bringing in partnerships like esports, supply chain, geospatial. We bring in career days for our students to be able to do a lot and understand, taking it really a lot out of the classroom and them being able to have those experiences. We do a lot of community days as well. And so summer I feel like is the most fun, because we're able to have them every day. So we're able to do a lot more things out of the classroom. Whereas the Saturday Academy is a lot more academically rigorous, because we only have 10 sessions. Yeah. And so summer, we have about 500 students on campus for that. And it is, it blows our minds just to see how the time goes by and how the students even grow and evolve in just that 4-week period.
That's cool. Now, before the Bridge program, Emmanuel, did you always think you wanted to go to college?
I knew it was one of those things where it's just assumed, like, my parents like, you're going to college, you know. Yeah. Wasn't sure what for, but I never before thought about that I could align what I wanted to do with going to college. I just thought it was like you stumbled into it and then figured it out there. But the Bridge program, they were talking about how those goals and aspirations, being able to write down what you like to do and then find careers that involve those characteristics, and then find a college that'll give you a direct path to those, and not just choose a random college that just happen to send you the acceptance letter, like, things like that, or your advertisement you saw, and then you end up being there for all this time and not ever get into that end goal, but actually having a step-by-step way to meet those goals that you had. And that was like, again, one of the first times me actually being able to walk through that type of goal. And then also being able to be in the program, you get that feel of managing not only your actual day school, but the Saturday scholar, the homework you get given. So then when you get to college, now it's not like your first time balancing a schedule. You sign up for classes and you're already thinking about, well, I have this much time in a week, this much time I want to do this. So how do I pick things that, again, match up with that goal? And those type of characteristics, you really developing that earlier on was like very beneficial. So it wasn't like I was walking to college unprepared.
Yeah. What's the commitment level for a parent?
Of course, our parents have to bring their students. And so, but the Parent Academy is the first Saturday, October through February. We don't have a Parent Academy during the summer because, of course, it's during the weekday.
Yeah.
Parents are working, but we do send resources out regularly to our parents. We have other opportunities where parents can log in if we do like monthly workshops for them, and so they can log in online for some of our Commit to Success workshops. But specifically for our Parent Academy workshops, that's just from October through February. And it's 8 to 12 on those Saturdays.
Now, a lot of the students have gone on to graduate from the Bridge program, and what does that look like?
So I am very proud to all of the students who come through our program and come through for their senior year, 100% of them have graduated from high school and matriculate to college. And that rate, I've been here since 2003, and so we've been able to track it since then. But 100% of them have graduated from high school and matriculated to college. And in a day and age where the high school graduation rate is falling and less students are going to college, I am happy to continue to support our students going on and realizing their post-secondary dreams. And so many of our students, again, they go on to make UMSL their home. And of course, I am a 2-time UMSL graduate.
Congrats.
I got my master's here and my doctorate here. And so I'm always encouraging students to make UMSL their choice, but I'm also encouraging them to go wherever is going to be the best fit. So we're happy about that, being able to support our students whether they come here or elsewhere.
Yeah, and you chose UMSL, correct?
Yes.
I did.
And why did you choose it? Does it line up with what you're wanting to do?
Yes, I had like 4 colleges on my list because that was one of the assignments. If pick your your dream colleges, cool. And as I was like, they suggested that we tour colleges, don't just apply without actually knowing what if you liked it. So I was touring different colleges, and one by one I scratched them off the list. And UMSL was on the list. To be honest, it's actually on the bottom. I was like, all right, I did the Saturday program. I'm like, I'm done. I've been here early in the mornings, so it's like I'm burnt out. But then I went on a tour of the whole campus, and I heard about their joint engineering program where it's 2 years at UMSL and 3 years at WashU doing night school. And they wanted to be night school so you could do an internship during the day without struggle. And I was comparing that to other colleges that I heard about, and that program just fits so well. Not only was it affordable, like fraction of the cost for other engineering programs, but the way it was set up to not only have UMSL's name on the degree, but WashU's, and to still have time to do several internships, just seemed like a great combination of academics and also experience. I know many engineers struggle with being so much on the theoretical side that they never had time to actually like intern at multiple places. Yeah. So not only do I have time in the summer, but also during the school year, and that was all because of how the program was structured. And it's like it works with a lot of people who are like, we have a large veteran population who go through the joint engineering program. Yeah. And so it's nice to be able to not only students who are your age, but others who have different experiences. So it's been nice. One of my professors gave me my first internship. He was a CEO of some startup, and I was like, oh, okay. He was helping me fix a 3D printer. He was like, so you want to tour the facility? I was like, sure. He was like, well, that's an interview. I was like, oh, well, then yes. And there's like just the different connections. Again, same thing as the Saturday program. Just people who were fortunate to learn information and then willingly give that to other people because they want to see other people prosper. Yeah. I feel that's not only the Saturday Scholars Program, but that's the Joint Engineering Program. That's UMSL culture as a whole.
Can you give me a quick rundown of what you're studying and the internships that you've taken part of?
Sure. So I'm a mechanical engineering major, and so my first internship was at a place called Intramotive. They make self-driving battery-powered trains, and I joined. They're about to go in their 5th year, so I joined about a year ago, almost 2 years ago, and their CEO Tim Lucchini, he's a professor in the joint program. Fantastic guy, down to earth. He used to be a lead engineer at Boeing, and then he started this company with his friends, kind of off of a dare, and then just kind of like started going with it. And it's funny, almost all the employees have been attached to the UMSL program in some way, or just happen to be different professors or the connections. It's like, oh, you're UMSL too? Nice. Tim got you. Okay. But that internship was special because most engineering internships, they give you intern tasks. It's like, oh, take the trash out, file this. And you do get to almost like look through the glass of like how engineering works. But at Intramotive, you actually got to design, manufacture, and then test. Wow. It's like, and all for the customer. It wasn't like, there were no such things as intern tasks. You literally were working as an engineer alongside engineers. At one point, we had most of our mechanical team was out of town, so it was just interns, and they're like, "We need this designed," and it was like, "Okay," and it wasn't well, we're really trusting. It was like, just you guys know what to do at this point. You guys can run things. It was like the CEO could be gone for a month at a time, investing in different things like that, and now it's like you guys can run and like how everything works. I ended up the CEO suggested that the interns get more experience outside of Intramotive. He was like, "This is great. We'll hire you on if you want." But he's like, you want to make sure you get opportunities in other areas to make sure you find out what you want. He didn't want to make sure that you weren't in love with Intramotive because that was the only place you ever worked. He was like, I know you guys liked it, like working for me, but it's like there's other places that might be better fit, or if not, it's like you always gonna come back. And so just again, that idea of cared enough about you to you're not tied to the company. But like he wants to see you succeed, so that led to my second internship at NEDEC, which has just been fantastic. So.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's really cool. So how does the support continue after the bridge program when students choose to attend UMSL?
So when they choose to attend UMSL, we have fantastic support services, like our Students Outreach and Support Services Department. They match students with academic coaches. They have peer-to-peer tutors. They have mentoring opportunities. I oversee the Women's Empowerment Network as well for college female students. And so there is wraparound services for our students to make sure that when they get here, and that's what I truly love about the handoff, if they decide to come here, that we can check in on them to make sure that they're doing well. I can stop by. We have the FYE courses, first year experience courses. And so what I love about this community here at UMSL, that we have people that are really passionate about and concerned about the well-being of our students to make sure that they are successful the moment that they come here. We have those summer bridge experiences for the college students.
Yeah.
And so I work with people in the Student Outreach and Support Services Department, the TRIO department as well, to make sure that whatever your nuanced needs are as a student, our Health, Wellness, and Counseling department, whatever those needs may be, that you can find those needs being met here. And being someone who has been here as long as I have, you can call someone at that department. You can walk them over, and you can see our students and you can check in on them. Reggie, who is over strategic enrollment, you can always call him. You can always Teams him, and he is concerned as well, like as much as he does, making sure that our students are successful here. And if they're not, trying to figure out why. So I just love the support that we are able to provide for our students here.
It's amazing. And then how can people find out about the Bridge program?
To find out about the Bridge program, you can go to bridge.umsl.edu. So we are on the university's website. Again, it's bridge.umsl.edu, but we are also on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It's UMSL Bridge program. So you can find us there, and we are excited to help you and your student with all of your college access needs. And so please give us a call.
What's been your most memorable experience in college so far?
Memorable experience. I had a class where the whole semester you were tasked to design something, and I couldn't figure anything to design. They gave you a 3D printer that you were able to keep. And I was at work and there was a cactus on the table. I was like, I think I could like CAD that up, in the computer. So I made a 3D model of it, and I was like, oh, this would be fun as a lamp, just as a joke. And then end up loving making lamps. So now it's like the most weirdest thing. My engineer friends make fun of me all the time for. They're like, oh, you're just a lamp guy. But it's like I made lamps out of drums, made lamps out of like, I've repurposed old chandeliers, and so now I'm making a ceiling light out of a drum. It's like a weird thing, niche that happened, but now it's like being able to apply what I've learned, and it's making school easier now because I've run into stuff. Now it's coming up in school. It's like, now I can actually have the answer for it.
Yeah.
But it's a bonding thing for friends and for school.
You should make a T-shirt that says, I can CAD that.
That would be good. I actually like that a lot. Yeah,
there should
I
be
can
a
CAD
T-shirt.
that.
That's yours. I can CAD that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then my last question for you is, what's a piece of advice that you got recently that is helping you right now?
Sure. Recently.
And recently is just tossed in to help. If it's something
Sure.
that you've been holding on to for a while, that works too.
Don't be afraid to ask for help is an interesting one. And it sounds more cliche than it is. It's like that could take on a whole different meaning, not only like socially or emotionally needing help, but also, and not just academically, but one of the things where if you don't know something, there's already people who have passed through it before. So you can get wisdom from them. Even if you don't use advice, knowing what other people did can kind of give you a compass of what you believe and how you want to proceed with it. And you can act with wisdom and not just going in it through, from your gut, which there are times you got to do that. But it's at the same time, that's been like the best piece of advice I've had through college. So many people you come across that have either, maybe failed class before, passed classes, or you're getting from professors or coworkers that you could gain so much wisdom for. And again, some people are like willing to help, especially if you just ask or just talking, and not even from trying to get something from you, but just developing relationships in that way, just asking for help. And that's been like the biggest piece of advice. It helps you calm down too, where it's not all on you. You have a team in support of you.
That's awesome. I like that. All right, Channon, your turn. Here we go. What's one book, movie, or TV show you think everyone should experience at least once? And it's a book, movie, or TV show. You don't have to give all three unless you want to. But you think everyone's got to watch or read this.
See, this is legitimately a fun question. This is like...
Book, movie, or TV show. So I love The Wiz. The Wiz.
Yeah.
I think it is just artistry, just excellence. And I just think if you have never seen that movie, if you have never witnessed just the excellence and the majesty of it, I think everyone should see it. Because it's about friendship, it's about a village, it's about, like he talked about, asking for help, it's about leadership, it's about conquering your fears, it's all of those things wrapped in one, and it's bringing you back to your center, which is your family, which is your core, which is never losing hope, never losing faith in yourself. And so it's also about finding your way.
Yeah.
I absolutely, so if you've never seen that movie,
I love The Wiz.
I recommend The Wiz.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Right, when you said it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
We watch it every year, several times a year.
I like that. I like that a lot. And then last question for you. What's a piece of advice that you have that has been helping you a lot recently?
You're never alone. That sometimes in life, even when we are adults, that sometimes we experience challenges and we feel like we have to keep it all repressed and suppressed within ourselves, and you forget that there are people out there that are willing to help you, that are willing to walk alongside you, and you learn you have to be, you're taught that you have to be so independent, you have to stand alone, but there are times that we need people. We are made to need others, and so I like to remind students of that's why we're here, like as the UMSL community, that even on those days that you are never alone. So that's something that
I like that a lot. Well, thank you both for joining me. This has been really awesome. I've loved hearing your stories. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is fantastic.